All right, guys, we're back at the boat again, and we just took off this little panel here again because we're adding another accessory to the Jeanneau 795. Right up here, there's a space here that is probably dedicated for a light bar, which is what we're going to install today. And we're going to go on the outside, mark some holes, and drill right through so we can put the screws on there. And then we have to run the wires in here so we can connect it to power. And then somewhere in this location here, we're going to add a toggle switch similar to this one here. I just don't want to have to go all the way around down and come all the way here to connect that here, when we can just connect a toggle switch right here and just turn it on and off, or here on and off right above there when we need it. So here we go. Okay, so what we have here is a 20-inch light bar. This light bar has flood and spotlight all in one. So that way we have everything that we can see when we're out at night and we want to get all those markers to shine up. We use the flood, and if we need to pinpoint something straight ahead, there's going to be the spotlight. So everything is integrated all together in one. So here's the location we're going to use. As you can see, I already marked the holes where we want it. We want the light bar right here in the front. It looks like it has that space there for it right there in the middle, which is flat. And we're going to go ahead and drill those two holes there so we can go ahead, connect these brackets on there, and then the light bar goes on this here, and it has that slot there so you can adjust it up and down, whichever adjustment you want to do on your boat. Depending on the slope you have there, you may want to adjust it up or down, but then here straightforward, I think it's fine. And we're ready to go ahead and make those holes now. All right, we're done with that first hole, but the first thing we're going to do is go down there inside the ceiling there, make sure it's not interfering with anything else. So we have to go and check that. All right, so let's see. All right, perfect. It's right there. All right, so the other one's going to be somewhere in here. So we're fine. There's nothing in the way there. There's nothing that's going to interfere with anything. So we're good. All right, excellent. One of the things that I like about using butyl tape is that there's no mess. Unlike using silicons or 5200 or 4200, it's really messy. So we have some of the butyl tape on this side here, so all we're going to do is just clean it away from the bolt there, and we're going to put it around the edge of the opening. This is one part. This is just one part, and we're going to put it all the way around, but we're going to put the nut and washers, which is flat washer, lock washer, and the nut, so we could tighten it up. All right, so we have now the butyl tape around it, the flat washer and the lock washer and the nut in place now. Right, we got it tightened up as much as we can for now. Now we're going to go outside and make sure the bracket is straight on the outside. Okay, ready to install this one. All right, now we go through the inside and put the lock washer, the washer, and the nut. All right, we just put the butyl tape all the way around the hole there, and now we're ready to put the same thing we did here: washer, lock washer, and nut. We're gonna do the same thing on the second one now. Okay, so we're getting close to the fun part of this whole installation. It wasn't really bad. We did it pretty fast. You can see this little bolt inside there. It slides over. All you have to do is just line it up with the bracket. And then we're going to use this bolt. This is the shorter one. There's a longer one that goes through the top here. And then the short one, it's just to adjust this part here. And it goes into that bolt you see right in there. Not the bolt, but the nut. Okay, so now we're going to put this through here and connect it to that nut there. All right, so now we're ready to tighten up the bolt you see there with a number 14 wrench. And before we do that, we adjusted this to more or less where we want it. This is something you're going to know later in the future. You're not going to know now exactly where you need to adjust it to, because the boat is on a rack, not in the water, and there's a difference in levels there when you're in the water and on a rack. So for now, I'm just going to put it the best I can by eye, and then go ahead and tighten that bolt right there and the one on the other end as well. And then we're ready to run the electric wire into the top there. All right, it's nice and tight. All right, this next item that we're going to use for the installation, it's the best thing you can use to put on the roof, and it's waterproof adjustable cable gland. It's just almost the same thing we use for the solar panel. And this part here, as you tighten this knot, the hole in the center there will get covered, and it seals the wire when it goes through. So you just tighten it up after you put the wire in there, and it seals all the way around. No water would get in. All we have to do is open a hole in the roof there to the size of this threads here, and then put it in there. It has a little nut. It has a rubber gasket in between, and the other end on this side. But we're going to use a little bit of the butyl tape as well to help seal it better, just so we won't take any chances of water getting in the future. So this is our next installation now. Okay, also before we do that installation, we have to check that there's nothing in the way there. In this case, there's really nothing in the way, so we can do the hole with no problem anywhere in that section there. And we just can't get too close to this side here, because then we'll be under here. But if we can bring it in somewhere around here, it's fine. And that's the other bolt there, so we're going to go ahead and do that hole now. All right, the installation on the roof of the boat is complete. Everything's tightened down. The wire is in through the roof. Here we go and check that out now. We already placed the gland in place. You can see right there. The wire goes through the top, and that top knot, you tighten it up and it seals the wire all the way around evenly. So I added a little bit of butyl tape all the way around to seal the hole a little bit more and make sure that no water gets through. And the whole thing is nice and tight. It's not going to go anywhere. So now we're ready for the electrical installation inside. All right, so now we have the wire inside the space where we're gonna hook up the electric and all that. We had to get electric from somewhere in there. We're gonna find some source in there. The switch is probably gonna be somewhere out here. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. We're ready to do the electrical connection, and this radio, I'm gonna have to take it out because I'm gonna share the power from the radio to the light bar over there, because it's the closest thing that we have power onto. So what we have to do is we have to little by little unclick it until you take this little cover off. Once you take the cover off, you expose 4 little screws there, and this whole thing comes out, and we can have access to that wire back there. So that's what we're gonna do next. I don't know what they did there. Looked like they sticked it on or something, because it's really hard to take off, but it did come out now with a little bit of pressure. All right, so far we have the radio hanging here, and we have positive and negative, which we're going to take from here. Since the radio is not being used all the time, we're going to use this one here so that when we need light at nighttime, we can have the light. And this is not going to interfere with it, because the light is not going to take a lot of power either. So this most likely be not used at the moment when we use the light. So we're going to go ahead and splice into here, and then I already ran my green fishing line. It's already coming out from this side. It was simple, just from there to there, and then we're going to go ahead and run the wires that come with the light bar. Everything's already set up in here, switch and everything is connected. All we have to do is just connect it to power, and then connect it to the light bar wire that's coming out from outside here. And that's it right there. All right, as you can see here, everything's already connected. This is the switch, turn on and off. These two are going to be the connections to the power source, positive and negative. This is connected to the other end, and then goes to a relay, and then from the relay comes back out, and it connects to the light bar. So everything's just plug and play. Everything comes already together. It already has inline fuse for protection, so everything's already set up. All you have to do is just connect it to your power source, put the switch where you want to put it at, and then you're ready to go. Simple as that. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, since we are going to splice to the power source up there, we don't need these rings because we're not putting it on a battery post. So we're going to just go ahead and cut off these 2 connections and splice them with one of these little things. That way we don't have to cut the wire or anything. We just splice into it and just feed some electric from those wires to the light bar. And this connection that I'm doing, there's no need to strip the wires and the tip or anything, because it's going to go into one of these little things here, and all you have to do is just feed it in there like that, and the other wire that's up there, we just put it through here, click it in there, and then this little piece right here we push down with the pliers, and this does the connection with both wires. And then when we're done, you get this little flap here, and you click it in place to protect it from it coming out again. So that's all we're doing here. Just slip it in here, slip on the other one, press down and click. That's it. All right, over here, this is the one we're splicing in. This is the black for negative. So I just put this little plastic thing through the first hole. The second one has a cover at the end to cover that tip that we just cut off from the other wire. So we're going to put the second wire into that space there, and then we're going to press this down to make the connection. And the one that's going in there will be this black one, and we'll just slip it in there and then go ahead and press it down on that little metal piece. All right, we just finished pushing down at that metal piece there, and that's what makes that connection. Now we're just going to flap this over and click it in place, and that's it. So we don't have to cut any wires, strip any wires, we just do the connection with that little piece there. Okay, this is the wire that comes from the light bar, and it comes with nothing at the tips there, but it does come with these so we can put on there. So we have to go ahead and put it on there and then crimp it in place. All right, we have the two connectors on, crimped already, ready to go. And the reason I'm doing this is before we get too far installing all the wires, we're going to test the system, make sure everything is working well before we connect everything here and then put everything back together. And then at the end, when you try it, it doesn't start or it doesn't light up, and then you have a problem. Then you have to take everything back apart again. So we're going to test it while we have everything open, and if everything works well, that light should turn on and we're ready to finish up the job and put all the wires away. All right, so we did the connection here, red with red, black with black. Got to make sure, and don't leave it open. Make sure everything is covered from the positive one. Make sure it's covered, it's not going to touch anything on the other side. All right, we have everything connected. We have the switch connected back again, and we have the power in place. So now we're going to go ahead and open up the battery switch and turn it on and test it all out. All right, so we just turned on the switch here, and as you can see the blue light behind there. That's the little light that's going to light up the light bar little LED here. And then let's go outside and see if the light is on. Now, judging by that wall there, I can see a huge white on the wall there. It should be on, and it is, and that is really strong because it's daylight, and that thing bothers my view here right now. That's how strong that is. All right, so we're ready to put all the wires away, and that's it. All right, so we checked everything, turned off the switch, and we got to come back and turn off the whole battery system here. Make sure everything's turned off, no power going through. Turn this one off, and now there's no power. Okay, perfect. So now we can unhook everything, run the wires, and put the switch in place. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open this loop here a little bit so we can fit all the wires in there. These are the two wires we're going to run. This is the one that goes on the light bar. This is the one that goes to the switch. Okay, so we're going to put them both through the loop. All right, and then close the loop. And I'm going to try to do that a little closer to the end of the wires here. Close the loop, and that holds it really hard. And then this little cap here, usually you could hide everything that's in the way so that way it won't get snagged on something in there. In this case, I can only fit those two, but I want to run all of them at the same time. So this is what we're going to run through from the fishing line there. So we're going to go ahead and pull it now. All right. Okay, now we have all the wires we need in place. to connect everything together again. And then the main thing here is it's really difficult to see where am I going to put this switch, which needs a rectangular cutout somewhere up there. So I have to see what's the best option. At that point, I think I'm going to take longer to think what's the best option to put it into than to do this whole installation. This was really easy to do, this whole installation here. And the one outside, it wasn't bad either. It didn't take me that long to do the outside either. So I think for me, the worst part is going to be finding where to put that switch at. All right, we have, this is from the VHS radio, the marine radio, a bunch of wires, and all the little tips are exposed. And some of them are red, some of them are black. Red tells me there's power going through there when you turn on the radio. So what I'm going to do is, for safety, I'm going to put electrical tape on all of these, because you don't want to have wires in there sparking with something else in the future. This shouldn't be like that. Everything has to be sealed like this is right here. Everything is sealed. But having that in there, touching metal and whatnot, it's not a good thing, especially on the boat. Okay, this is my chosen spot for that switch. So what I did is I measured there and made a mark of the size of the switch, the body of the switch. It has a little bit more, so that way it goes in there nice and tight and it doesn't come out. So I'm gonna do, I just did the first hole there, so I'm gonna make holes all the way around the square there, or the rectangle in this case. And then we just have to clean it out and see how we get there little by little. So this part here, you have to take your time to do it right. And I think this spot is fine because the cables are right there, Lightbar is right above there, and this is the connection up there is easy to get to because we're right there, and from there to there we can switch on and off and not bump into it and turn it on or off by mistake. So it's out of the way completely. Alright, so we have that much done, and of course I put some of this on because you're breathing in all this fiberglass coming down, and eye protection as well, so you have to have that all the time. Alright, so we got it in place. It's perfect, it's nice and tight, because you don't want to go too big on the hole and then have it all loose there coming down all the time. So we got it perfectly, and with the file, what we do is we file down little by little until we fit it in there perfectly and nice and tight. And that's the way it is there now. So we have the switch in place there, and we're ready to hook up the power and put away the wire inside there and put that cover back on with our tide clock. So here we go. We're almost done. Light is on. Okay, let's go check it out. You can see that right there. It's still daylight, but you can see the glare right on the wall there. And here we go, people, all ready to go. The installation is completely done, and now we're ready for some nighttime navigation if we needed to, because now we have light.
And the Lord said, "Let there be light."
In the front, that is either spotlight or floodlight, which is really awesome because we get pinpoint and we get to see all the markers all far away. They will be all lighted up. We're all done. The only thing we need to do is clean up a little bit of the fiberglass dust, and we're done. All right, guys, we're all completed, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, you can leave comments on the comment section below, and we'll answer your question the best we can. But thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you so much for subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, take the opportunity now to click that button right below and subscribe to our channel. If you like this video, splash the like button right now down there. Thank you again, and see you on the next one. And like I always say, peace from the Keys.